Using Logic Trace, I'm going to trace out this guitar profile and cut it out on the CNC machine. The cutout guitar is going to look like 3D. First thing we'll do in Logic Trace is define the four corners. I do that by touching the four corners on the paper diagram. Defining the four corners gives me a good display on Logic Trace. Also, you'll notice here I use a red pencil, and they use that to mark off where I start my tracing. It gives me an idea of what's done. The first selection on Logic Trace will be the trace command. Here I'll just follow the perimeter of the guitar. It's here where I use the red pencil to show my starting spot. You can see here where I'm coming back to my starting spot. Now I'm going to start tracing some of the internal parts. It's probably a good spot here to talk about Logic Trace. Under the options, you can define the program how you'd like to set it up to suit yourself. Like for instance, I've set up my line width at 0.5 and I've selected it black. I want my diagrams to look like black thread. One unique feature is the ability of the program to extend the control window to another device, like a cell phone or an iPad. And this enables you to have that closer to you so you can make your selections very quickly. I find Logic Trace easy to use and it's fast, and it has the ability to be saved in different formats like DXF, PolyDXF, SVG, or PDF. I use DXF. My CNC machine and my CO2 laser, and also the vinyl printer all accept DXF formats. Another neat feature is that when you save your work, the program saves an extra copy, which I call the working copy. So if you want to take a break or pick up tracing the next day, you can load that work copy is a TLG format, and you pick that up by reloading it under options. This is going to be an interesting project because I'm taking a 2D diagram. I'm going to cut it out and it's going to look like 3D. I'm going to use butternut. It's going to be about 1 inch thick, so it's going to give it some real good depth. This is easy tracing on Logic Trace. You can see here where I save my work. I save my work frequently. Tracing's all finished up now, so I'm going to save my final DXF file. I've loaded the finished file into Vectric Aspire 11.5. Here I'll check the vector quality and create two toolpaths. The one toolpath is just going to be a round over. That'll be the first one. And the second toolpath will be a 1/4 inch carbide bit to cut right through. The simulator view looks good. Shown here, I've got my piece of butternut mounted on the CNC slave table, and I'm getting ready to start that round over bit. You can also see that I use wood hold downs, and that's just in case the router hits one of the hold downs, it won't do any harm to the bit. That piece of butternut is just under 1 inch thick. Here I'll be changing the bits. I'll be removing that round over bit, and I'll be installing the 1/4 inch carbide end mill. The end mill here will be programmed between 4 and 5 passes to cut right through that 1 inch butternut. I kept the feed rate kind of low because it's a delicate project. A lot of those parts are very small. I didn't want anything to break off. Mind you, it is 1 inch thick, and that does help. In these videos, I don't use the dust collection system. I just use that hand vacuum so you can see the cut better. The overall size of the guitar was about 14 or 13 inches wide by about 29 inches long. Butternut cuts very smooth. It's kind of like basswood, except it's just a little darker color. I also use small 1 inch nails to hold down some of those parts that get cut right out, because you don't want that part flying out into the cutter. It'll just end up ruining your workpiece. You'll notice the router here jumps up a bit. That's because I programmed tabs along that outer rim. I'm always concerned about cutting a part out because that part starts to move, it'll start to kind of vibrate, and next thing you know, it gets caught in the cutter and gets thrown out. Getting close now to finishing up. I'll give it a quick vacuum, pull out those 1 inch nails, and start removing the guitar.